Well, if you're confused about access to abortion care, you're not alone. Confusion caused by legal battles over mifepristone, otherwise known as the abortion pill, may lead some to believe that their options for reproductive care is limited. However, Attorney General Keith Ellison wants to put those fears to bed. He met with the press today to talk about the legality of accessing mifepristone here at home. Here's what he had to say.
Let me be clear. I'm committed to doing everything in my power to preserve the rights of Minnesotans to access safe and effective abortion medication like mifepristone, full stop. Let me tell you, here is where things stand at the moment. Minnesota has joined other AGs suing in federal court in Washington state. We're seeking to broaden access to mifepristone so that it is treated like other drugs with similar safety records, which are good in mifepristone's case, safer than so many things out there in the market, as safe as ibuprofen and other medications. Last Friday, the Washington court judge issued a ruling staying the FDA and saying it could not change its treatment of mifepristone in Minnesota. On the same day, a judge in Texas took it upon himself to disagree with all of the scientific studies, and he ruled mifepristone should lose its FDA approval. And in the Fifth Circuit has said most of what the Texas judge's ruling still stands. Now, yesterday afternoon, the Washington court judge doubled down and said, no, my order stands. And I expect, speaking as the AG, that the FDA, I would expect the FDA to follow it in the plaintiff states, which includes Minnesota. So as I said, in Minnesota, we expect people to have access to mifepristone. The plaintiff states are writing to the FDA to make it clear how we interpret the orders, and we expect no change in the status quo, meaning how things were before the Texas judge's order. Additionally, the FDA has asked the U.S. Supreme Court to fully stay the Texas judge's order, and the Supreme Court is likely to respond soon. Now, let me be clear. The Fifth Circuit decision does not, not affect the Washington stay, meaning mifepristone remains an approved drug for abortion, both in Minnesota and in all states. Let me repeat that. Mifepristone remains an approved drug for abortion. I want to remind everyone, this is an evolving situation. Things are changing rapidly. Nobody can honestly say they know exactly what is going to happen. But we are committed to make sure that people have the right to make their own reproductive choices and use safe drugs like mifepristone.
We know that anti-abortion activists brought the case challenging mifepristone in Texas with the intent of harming abortion access and harming patients across the nation. Anti-abortion activists have used the courts to create confusion in the healthcare system, which directly harms patients. It's a cruel tactic and will serve to harm already marginalized communities the most. As Black Maternal Health Week comes to an end on Monday, we are faced with the stark reality that healthcare in this country is political. Your zip code and the color of your skin determines what type of care you receive. Health disparities are not accidents. They're predictable results of policy choices. They are judicial choices. The court decision out of Texas is yet another example. Nationally, Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die of a pregnancy-related cause. In states with restrictive abortion laws, the maternal mortality rates are even worse. This is an unacceptable disparity, and it will only serve to increase this preventable maternal health crisis. Our health services teams have been preparing from an operations perspective, and because of the leadership of Keith Ellison, we are likely going to have more protections on medication abortion, and we are preparing for plans for each state that we provide abortion care within: Minnesota, Iowa, and Nebraska. The current state of our healthcare landscape is not fair. It's not equitable, it's not just, and it's just plain wrong. People should be able to get their health care in their communities. While we wait for the U.S. Supreme Court to weigh in on this issue, we are again faced with yet another court deciding what health care we can have.
Abortion is essential healthcare, and patients should have options. Since mifepristone's FDA approval in the year 2000, medication abortion has grown in popularity, and now it accounts for about 50% of all abortions nationwide. So if you're feeling upset that, once again, judges have inserted political beliefs into private, personal medical decisions, you are not alone. I am very, very much there with you. The decisions out of Texas and from the Fifth Circuit have nothing to do with facts or science, but are deliberate political interferences in private healthcare decisions. Every single one of us deserves the right to make decisions about our own bodies and futures without this interference. These decisions have the potential of impacting more than just abortion care. They could impact sexual and reproductive health care as a whole, because mifepristone is used in miscarriage management and several other reproductive health indications. Mifepristone has a proven record of safety and effectiveness. It's been used in parts of Europe and China since the late 80s and the early 90s, and it's been used by more than 5 million people in the United States since the FDA approved it over 2 decades ago. Taking mifepristone off the market is not a medical decision. It's a political attack and will have profound negative impact on abortion access. It also puts the FDA's regulatory authority in peril, and that is problematic for every single one of us. It's hard for me to emphasize how frustrating it is for me to have judges and politicians and protesters and whoever in my exam room with me and my patient. We're pretty packed in there right now. So right now we have judges from Texas in there trying to determine what care we can provide and not provide and how we provide it. Medical professionals, the experts with sound understanding of science, and patients who are the experts of their own lives should be the ones making these important life decisions.
Keep watching CBS News Minnesota for continuing coverage.